Alright, there we go. Some semblance of a lot more clean. Knocked out a lot of the rust and dirty debris. Tomorrow morning, we're going to come out and paint. Going to start off with a coat of Rust-Oleum. Now remember, we're also doing the underside of the floor pan too. Had it once again this time. Yeah, so looks a little different. We're going from mock-up to assembly. However, there's going to be a little bit of a modification to the assembly owing to the fact that we needed to, and I'll show you that in a little bit. We needed to get the T-bar kit for the QA1 shock absorbers that we have for the Mustang 2 build. They have not come as of yet. Hopefully they'll be here within the next few days. I've got the fan going because, as always, I'm trying to keep the hurricane force winds going to keep the mosquitoes, those that are still out there, away from me. Plus, it just feels so wonderful right about now. I'm using anti-seize to put onto the through bolt that goes onto the lower cross member for the tubular A-arm kit that has been purchased, and all the modifications that you saw in previous videos that we did for the Mustang 2. This is kind of primary and necessary. I'm only putting it on the shank, not the threads of the bolt, so we will not have an issue with removing this in the future if it ever needs to be removed, and so forth and so on. Anti-seize compound. Oh wow, great stuff. It stays there, as you know, has a higher drop meaning temperature at which the stuff melts than regular grease. It's recommended in the instructions that you do use anti-seize for that purpose. You know, you've got two different types of steel in this case, so yeah, what, third time, fourth time, anti-seize. But excuse me. Learned a lot doing this kit. One of the things that was learned, and maybe you saw it in the little short that I did, was the fact that there is a bewildering array of tubular A-arm kits of the Mustang 2 variety, including those that are designed to actually work with the stock hats. As I said, this kit looks like it was one that was for one of the universal cross-member kits, i.e. Fat Man variety, or whatever name brand. I'm just naming Fat Man because that's the one that comes to mind while I'm searching for my hammer that I cannot find. At any rate, there is quite an array of tubular A-arm kits for Mustang 2 applications. As probably some of you more seasoned professionals know. Now, I guess, does that mean that I ordered the wrong thing? No, because actually it was a professor that did this. No worries, we got it on. That is the important part of this exercise. We didn't compromise, we improvised. Something like that. Anyway, it works. It works. And that's what matters. after running the hardware through the tumbler, cleaned it up and just painted the heads for a little rust proofing, even though these are not the pieces that you're going to see once everything is bolted together. So it just made it look kinda nice. One on each side for the upper. Of course, in the future, we're going to have to do some rough type of measuring to adjust what to? Caster and camber. Once we get this together. So, I grab this shock and show you what I'm meaning here. This is a standard Mustang 2 style mounting pin. In other words, the bolt would go straight through here and through the middle of the lower control arm in an original Mustang 2. Since we modified this one with the kit that looks like it's for, again, one of the universal type of suspension systems that you would add to your particular type of hot rod, it's necessary to get the T-bar type fitting. They're $28 a piece from the manufacturer. So I had to order those from eBay, and it's taken a few days to get those in. So for that reason, we're not going to be mounting the shocks into final assembly that you're seeing right here. And this is final assembly, not mock-up. We'll torque everything once we get all the components necessary, because we're going to have to actually take the springs out to install the shocks and mount the shocks properly in this perch right here. So when that comes, we'll bring that to you as well. These kits, take note that there are 2 different types of bushings that are going to come with it. You will want to install your steering knuckle first, and then put these on top of them, and then your castle nut according to the instructions. Keep that in mind. Let's see. Obviously, it's a characteristic of these threaded type of boots. There appears to be no lip for them to stay on. The only thing that keeps them in place is being mounted in compression, maybe, or just a tight fit. But once they are compressed, I'm sure they will obviously stay mounted as they should. This is the permanent mount, but I'm not torquing anything down at this point, because we're going to have to, as I said before, take it down in order to get the springs in. But just like it took 30 minutes roughly when I tore down the stock piece, it probably takes every bit of about 15 just to put it all together once you have everything. But I just want us to get a picture of what it looks like when it is together, if you're contemplating doing this on your particular project. Keep in mind when you're getting ready to mount your spring, the beveled in right there, there is a locating tab on your spring perch on your lower control arm. You want to make sure that that spring is going to be in contact with that, which of course I guess keeps it from rotating. And also make sure that it sits squarely in the saddle. In fact, on the 2, it's going to go in first. And with the jack in place, just lower it a bit. Well, not quite that much. Rest the back of the first coil on the back of the spring perch. Lower arm. And crank it in place. Now, of course, I don't have engine or transmission in here, so all I'm managing to do right now is literally jack up the car off of the jack stands. But again, this is just to demonstrate what it's like. Let me show you one other thing that's quite surprising. If you notice this, you're going to find, at least I found, that these joints, ball joints, were very, very tight. I literally had to break them loose before they would move. So if you've got a kit like this, you may want to break them loose and get them moving first so that they're more easy to manipulate. On your application. Just make life a whole lot more fun. And like that, it's just a matter of torquing everything according to specifications. There it is. Tubular A-arm system. So I think I'm going to call it a night, but I want to show you what else we have done. As you probably noted, there's a little bit more color on the frame of the two than there has previously been. Yeah, it was talking to me and it said it wanted to be gray. I made a patch panel right here because if you look at some of the older videos, you were going to see that there were a lot of smaller panels that covered the factory holes that the original builder did. Kind of created a mosaic like a quilt. And I just decided to take a piece of sheet, cut it out and cover that just to give it a smooth look. Then of course sanded and cleaned the firewall and painted it with the Rust-Oleum smoke gray, but modified it a little bit by adding just a little bit of white to it. See, there's the other side mocked up completely. Not mocked up, ready for torquing and final assembly once we get the pieces in. But I decided to paint the chassis gray and also inside the tub as well, just to reflect light, to make it look clean. Now understand that this is no longer a stock vehicle, and when it is together, it's not necessarily going to be sitting out here in the garage all the time. My wife, you know Deborah, yeah, she likes parking in the garage in the wintertime, and it's getting cold. It's not cold, but fall is here. And she knows that as soon as first frost hits, she's going to want to be parking in the garage. So this car is going to be sitting outside, subject to rain and changes in weather and moisture and everything else. So I wanted to give the metal, the bare metal, every opportunity to survive, as well as look good and be practical for us when we're out campaigning this car. So having the gloss light gray paint is going to help tremendously reflect the light the available light as well as the light that we're going to have in the car. Now, let me see if I can find my other light. Show you where else we did this. We even did the underbelly. For the very same reason. Now back behind the rear end, at the rear end, all the metal, all the tin work back there is silver, so it reflects light quite well. But I wanted to do this underneath just to give us more opportunity to see things when and if we need to get underneath the car. Also, again, because it's going to be in a fairly harsh environment, give it a reason to survive. So there we go. At least for right now, a couple more pieces going to come in, as we said before. I wanted to get this ready so when the chassis builder calls, throw the wheels on, take it to him so he can do the bars. In the meantime, we still have other aspects of the chassis to take care of. Servicing the rear end, installing the brake lines, installing the brake master cylinder, which I took off. I'm either going to clean it or replace it, and removing the fuel pump, because we are not replacing it. We're simply going to rebuild this rotary pump. It's a lot cheaper than replacing it. We don't call this an $0 garage for nothing. We're using what we got. We're using knowledge and skill and all you other great folks out there in YouTube land that have done things like this in the past. We value the experience and sharing that knowledge. But it's what we're doing. This is racing and car building on a budget. It's not the only way to go. You know what to say? Nah, skip to say. We're not up to cubic inches yet. Maybe that will come later. But this part of the battle is done. On to other things as we progress with the Mustang to build. I want to thank all of you for dropping in. Thank all of you for liking, subscribing, and sharing with your friends. And keep those cars and letters coming in. I will see you next time.